A very good evening from a quiet and sombre Old Trafford, the home of Manchester United and the spiritual home for many years to the great Sir Bobby Charlton. Today, the city of Manchester and the world of football has been saying a very fond farewell at his funeral service at Manchester Cathedral. In the congregation, family, friends, even royalty. On the way there, his funeral cortege pulls outside this great stadium where thousands stood waiting. Sir Bobby won just about every trophy possible with Manchester United and England. For club, there were league titles, FA Cups, and of course in 1968, lifted by the spirits of the Busby Babes, the European Cup. For country, his goals helped power England to our only World Cup win in 1966, all achieved with a quiet, humble modesty which belied his superstar status. Our correspondent, Chris Hall, reports now on the day we said goodbye to the shy boy from the mining village who became a face known right across the world.
One final ovation for a man who always brought the Old Trafford crowd to its feet. With his talent, he ascended to the peak of his sport. With his courage, he transcended it in the face of disaster. And yet, in Manchester, Sir Bobby Charlton remained a man of the people.
The last candle's gone out from, he's the last of the Busby Babes. His longevity with the football club, he was just that father figure that was always, always here and always had a smile on his face watching the football, and sadly that's no more.
He is without doubt, in my opinion, the greatest ambassador that Manchester United and possibly English football has ever had.
Everybody respected him, even opposing fans, everybody's been showing the respect, so can't say much more than that really. And I love the man very much.
As a boy, he'd pound footballs against the walls of this stadium. Today, the teens and youth teams of Manchester United paid tribute. A guard of honour from players full of promise for a man who delivered on his.
He's a gentleman and a legend. Do you know what I mean? He had time for everybody.
I'll be singing for him later anyway about United, yeah. We are supporters of United, and Matt Busby is our king, and Bobby Charlton is our leader, and Georgie Bestie is a demon on the wing.
And then it was farewell to his home of 67 years, a place where Bobby steered United to 3 league titles, an FA Cup and their first European crown, while gleaming in United's holy trinity, and onward to holy ground. Where 18 years ago Bobby said his goodbyes to George Best, his mourners ignored the threat of a storm for a man who survived a plane crash born of a blizzard, grieved for his teammates, then rebuilt his club into a sporting dynasty.
He was on that plane in Munich. He barely survived. Played probably the most important part as a player in rebuilding the football club and the football team, and people's belief in the football club.
And I know that him and my dad were not only teammates but good friends, and it's a very special thing that they did at United and what they did for football, so it's a very special day.
So humble, modest, his empathy to people was first class. World-class player and a world-class person. And I think all the Manchester United supporters all over the world will cherish his memories.
Led by Sir Bobby's wife Norma, they turned out for their teammate, their World Cup winner, their friend. Today, he was 1,000 things to 1,000 people inside Manchester Cathedral, including Prince William and United royalty too. Heroes from the past and the players who now fill the jersey Sir Bobby was so proud to wear.
Not only was he a fabulous football player, but he was a fantastic human being and a man as well. Just making me a cup of tea and offering me a bit of advice, which was always go and enjoy it. Enjoy playing for this great football club. And he kept it as simple as that, but when Sir Bobby Charlton's making you a cup of tea, it always tasted so great.
I'm here United because of Bobby Charlton, without question. He was a wonderful support for me and everything we did when I first came to the club. And I can't say any more than that. He was just a really, truly wonderful man.
Tributes saved for the ceremony came from ex-CEOs David Gill from United and John Shields from United's foundation, with the most poignant words reserved for his family. Sir Bobby, for years sung to from the stands, was serenaded to the tune of Jerusalem and Abide With Me. Opera singer Russell Watson, himself a United supporter, lent his voice to proclaim how great thou art. The greatness of Sir Bobby's art will remain on the lips of football fans for generations.
A man of the people indeed. Chris Hall reporting there. Well, joining me now is John Stiles, the son of one of Sir Bobby Charlton's closest friends, both on and off the pitch, Nobby Stiles. John, a very warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. You were at the funeral today. Just give us a sense what the atmosphere was like inside Manchester Cathedral today.
It was quite electric, really, and very warm. It was just a class service, just like the man himself.
Your dad and Sir Bobby were great friends. Just tell us a little bit about their relationship.
Well, Dad and Bobby and Shea Brennan were really close. The three of them, they were inseparable. And three gigglers, they're always laughing. And Bobby to us, he was literally Uncle Bobby when we were kids. He would come round at Christmas, families had exchanged presents, and the football was never really spoken about. He was just, first thing he'd do, he'd come straight over to you, ask you how you were, made you feel great. Just a lovely, lovely man.
So interesting, his grandson William said today he recalled a creative, fantastic storyteller who would make up what he called jam and custard tales to entertain and enthrall younger members of the family. You know, for all of us, Sir Bobby was this incredible figure, a legend of a player, but for so many people, he was just a normal guy, a loving guy.
Yeah, I think Bobby and my dad were similar in that football was the job, and that was over there, and when they weren't doing that, they were family men, private family men. But Bobby's profile, of course, was huge, and they talked today about all the kindnesses he'd done for different people, and he was just a wonderful man. You're just blessed to know somebody like that and have them in your life.
Your dad played with so many greats. Where does Sir Bobby rank in the pantheon of great Manchester United players?
Well, I'm maybe not that qualified to judge as a player, but my dad said Bobby was the greatest player he ever saw. It's as simple as that. I mean, has there ever been a greater sight than Bobby Charlton weaving across the pitch and then hitting a 30-40 yarder into the top corner? My dad said against Mexico in the '66 World Cup, he was right behind it when he just hit it with his right foot, and my dad said I'd never seen anything like it.
And on 1966, I mean, an incredible day for everybody involved. Just can you recall that moment, the stories that you were told?
Well, I can't. I was only two, yeah. But my dad tells the stories, and Bobby was the one who set them alight with the goal against Mexico, and he was the world-class player. There was many world-class players, but he was the jewel, and he was the one who could make the difference, really. That's the way my dad always spoke about it. Just a great attitude. Great player, but William today said he talked about his goodness, not his greatness, and anybody who met him will know what a lovely, kind man he was, and no edge on him.
John, you'll have your fond memories of Sir Bobby. How will this club here remember him?
I don't think this club would be what it is if it wasn't for Bobby Charlton. After Munich, he was the figurehead, really. I don't think this club would be what it is today if it wasn't for the great Bobby Charlton and what he did after that disaster 10 years later. My dad was a Manchester lad, and to him it was a dream come true. They did it for those boys, and Bobby, of course, felt it more than anybody else.
John, wonderful reflections on Sir Bobby. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for letting me talk about a wonderful man.
Thank you. Cheers. Well, to another of Sir Bobby's teammates, they wore United's famous red shirt for 8 years together, and were also in that great side which lifted the European Cup back in 1968. Paddy Crerand was an uncompromising midfielder, considered one of the finest of his generation for both his club and his country, Scotland. Our sports correspondent, David Chisnell, talked to him about his memories of Sir Bobby.
Charlton. While millions around the world know the name Sir Bobby Charlton, Paddy Crerand knew the man. A 60-year friendship that started the day they became teammates at Manchester United.
What's your first memory of meeting Sir Bobby?
I came down from Scotland in 1963 and Bobby was a big star then. But Bobby never thought he was a big star, but we thought he was a big star, and to meet Bobby Charlton was nerve-wracking. And you just, after a couple of weeks training and all that, you found out he was just an ordinary lad like the rest of us, even though he was this famous figure.
Charlton going through here like a greyhound, number 2.
What was he like off the pitch as well?
Incredible off the pitch, so shy he was. Wherever he went, and we went with the team, he went and he would get out the road of it all, Bobby, or try to get out the road of it all, but he was Bobby Charlton. He couldn't get out the road of it all. Everybody wanted to shake his hand, say hello or do something. But he was such a nice man, you can't believe how nice he was.
Charlton, and there he goes! Bobby Charlton!
How influential was Sir Bobby on this Manchester United team that you played in?
Fabulous. It was so important for the team on the pitch. I mean, that opposition they wanted to kick off. Bobby never reacted to it. You know, he was such a graceful player. If you seen him running, it was absolutely fantastic. The way he ran about the pitch, it was just beautiful to watch.
Charlton!
I played with Bobby so many times. Never stopped moaning. Never stopped moaning on the pitch. And I finished up saying to him one day, I said, Bobby, we're not all as good as you. He didn't take any notice of it after a period of time. You knew that was Bobby. Bobby wanted perfection all the time.
On the fringe of a Munich airport lies the wreckage of an airliner.
Paddy joined Manchester United the day of the 5th anniversary of the Munich air disaster. The plane crash in 1958 claimed the lives of 8 United players. Sir Bobby was one of the survivors.
Never spoken about at all, but obviously it affected Bobby. I mean, when you think, even you now, with your pals that you've got, what if you lost half of them in a short space of time? You wouldn't know what to do with yourself.
Charlton! It's there! Bobby Charlton!
What did winning the European Cup in 1968, after all that he'd been through, what did that mean to Sir Bobby?
Oh, everything. I mean, it meant everything to him, Matt.
Manchester United have won the European Champions Cup.
For Sir Bobby in that game to score 2 goals, to lift the trophy.
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, I just thought after the game, what is Bobby thinking? Because right at the crash at Munich, they were going to win everything for the following, God knows, 10 years at least, in actual fact. It never happened.
From tragedy to triumph. And that European Cup win came 2 years after Sir Bobby led England to World Cup glory.
When you look at all the great England players, is Bobby the greatest?
Oh, without question, yeah.
And Bobby Charlton weeping with emotion.
How will he be remembered?
For his ability. I don't think lots of people probably knew him off the pitch. I remember from being the perfect gentleman he was, but on the pitch, his ability. He was a great, great figurehead for Manchester United. I mean, you go anywhere in the world, even today, and mention Bobby Charlton, and people know who you're talking about. Go anywhere. Bobby Charlton.
Yeah, it makes the hair stand on the back of your neck, doesn't it? Well, the memories of Manchester United legend Paddy Crerand. Well, there will be more from me at Old Trafford in just a few moments' time on this very poignant evening, and there's lots more about Sir Bobby's funeral on our website, itv.com/Granada for that. Now though, it's over to the studio and Mel's there with the rest of the day's news and sport. Hello to you, Mel.
Hi, Gamal. Well, first from me, the mother of a Liverpool fan who died at Hillsborough is helping to teach school children about the harm caused by offensive football chants. Margaret Aspinall, who lost her son James in the disaster, is backing new lessons being taught online from today in schools across the country. She says people need to take action to stop the chants.
If you hear that chanting, I would actually go up to a steward. Report it, but don't confront it. Through the proper authorities, you can change things.
Blackpool is a more popular holiday destination than New York and Benidorm, according to the holiday search engine Trivago. Blackpool ranked in the top 5 tourist destinations for 2024 across the globe. Trivago say Brits are choosing domestic travel because of wildfires across Europe and soaring airfares. Liverpool and Manchester also ranked in the top 10. Now, weather warnings have been in place across the northwest today as Storm Debbie begins to move away from the region. Ronaldsway on the Isle of Man had some of the top wind speeds at 68 miles per hour, with Blackpool, as these pictures show, not far behind. Meanwhile, rail providers are issuing warnings to customers to check before travelling, and some houses have been left without power.
We've had about 15,000 homes and businesses disconnected, but the majority of those have had their supplies reconnected across the northwest. So we currently have about 1,500 without power at this moment in time, but that's changing as we go through the evening.
In sport, the Northwest has 2 new world champions to celebrate. Tom Aspinall from Atherton achieved his lifelong dream to become Britain's first UFC heavyweight champion. Despite only having 17 days to prepare for the fight in New York, the 30-year-old knocked out his Russian opponent in just 69 seconds to claim the interim crown. Well, meanwhile, at the Trampoline World Championships, Nantwich's Bryony Page claimed top spot on the podium for the 2nd time in her career. She won gold in the individual final. There was also success for Zach Pizamanos from Liverpool, who was part of the men's and all-round teams that won bronze. Well, now for a quick look at the stories making the headlines in the ITV News at 6:30. Here's Charlene.
A shock return to the government for a former Prime Minister. David Cameron has been appointed as Foreign Secretary as part of a cabinet reshuffle by Rishi Sunak. He also sacked Suella Braverman as Home Secretary. We'll have all the latest on a dramatic day at Downing Street. Also tonight, the 4th named storm of the autumn hits the UK. So why are we having so much bad weather? And a final farewell to Sir Bobby Charlton. Thousands turn out for the football legend's funeral in Manchester. All that and more.
And on that very fitting note, time to say that is it from me and the team here. But now it is back to Gamal at Old Trafford.
Mel, many thanks indeed. Well, on the day the football world pays tribute to Sir Bobby Charlton, let's hear some more thoughts now on the great man. Our sports correspondent, Mike Hall, is at Manchester Cathedral, where Sir Bobby's funeral has taken place.
Yes, a very moving afternoon here at Manchester Cathedral. 1,000 guests left here, clutching on to this very, very precious order of service. But of course, it is their memories of Sir Bobby Charlton that they will hold on to the most. One of those inside the cathedral today was Jane Bateman from the Sir Bobby Charlton Foundation. Jane, thank you for talking to us. Your reflections on the service?
Oh, it was absolutely beautiful. It was pitch perfect. People who'd worked with Bobby spoke, family members spoke. And what came across more than anything was one of the words that one of them said, which is not just the greatness, it's the goodness of the man. It was great, really lovely.
We've heard so much in the last couple of weeks about Sir Bobby Charlton, the sportsman, but he was a humanitarian too. Tell us about the work that he's done with the foundation.
Yes, so Bobby went to Cambodia in 2009 and they visited a community which had been stricken by landmines, so these unexploded devices that lie under the ground. And he met children who'd gone out to play football, left their homes one day, and ended up either standing on a landmine and losing a limb, touching a landmine, losing a hand or an arm, or even worse, not coming home at all. And he was just determined from that moment on to do something about it. One of the first projects that they embarked upon was, in fact, in conjunction with the University of Manchester, which was to improve the detection systems for landmines. He was very clear that communities had to be cleared of these things because they were maiming lives, taking lives, so that was his first priority.
And more recently, Sir Bobby and yourselves have turned your attention to Ukraine as well.
Yes, one of the terrible legacies of war is these unexploded devices, and unfortunately they are still a weapon of war. Ukraine is now apparently one of the most landmined countries on earth, which is really shocking because they don't just disappear overnight. Their legacy lasts 10, 20 or more years. So one of the projects that we supported is demining, so training Ukrainian nationals in demining, which is in itself a very dangerous profession, let's say, because not only do they have to learn to detect these, but they have to successfully detect them. Otherwise, they too can end up losing their lives. So this is exactly the kind of project that Sir Bobby cared so passionately about, and we're really pleased that we can continue that under his name.
I know Sir Bobby took all of his roles incredibly seriously, but it's very important, I think, today to acknowledge there was a fun side to Sir Bobby Charlton. We're going to share some clips now with everybody at home of him at a Manchester United parade 10 years ago, and then a community event with some young people. Did you get to see that sense of fun?
Yes, absolutely. Sir Bobby had an amazing sense of humour, and I think that's why he really engaged with young people and children. They really resonated with him. We have travelled to Africa together, and in Africa there's very much a culture of singing and dancing, and Bobby just got involved, and you would find him singing and dancing in those places as well. So he was just at home doing that as he was with the football.
I know you'll miss him terribly. Jane, thank you so much for talking to us on such a sad day. Some lovely memories there from Jane. We've heard so many memories today from other people as well, haven't we? Sir Bobby Charlton, the humanitarian, Sir Bobby Charlton, the sportsman, the gentleman, the true legend.
Yeah, a man with so many strings to his bow, Michael there. So today, we not only say goodbye to Sir Bobby Charlton, but also celebrate his life and his legacy. You know, words like great and legend are so often misplaced, especially in our business, but not in his case. He was quite simply one of the finest footballers to ever grace the beautiful game that is football. And in the words of Sir Alex Ferguson, a truly wonderful man. Tonight, from Old Trafford, we leave you with our reflections of a player whose name will always be close to the heart of the world's football family. A very good night. Bye-bye.
You could say I started at the top because I came to a fashionable club, Manchester United, you know. I did quite well.
Charlton. Oh, what a goal!
Football to me is just my life, you know. I eat, sleep and drink football. When I wake up in the morning, I think who we're playing next Saturday.
It used to give me a thrill to see him on the move, gliding past people and then hitting this ball.
On the fringe of a Munich airport lies the wreckage of an airliner.
I would think that most people would feel guilty. You wonder why was it me? Why was it not any of the others?
Charlton! It's the lead! Bobby Charlton! What a goal! And there it is, there's the final whistle. Manchester United have won the European Champions Cup.
It was just such an exciting night, even people in the country, you know, that wanted Man United to win because of what had happened with Munich and the emotion of Sir Matt Busby being there.
As goes forward, he might make it three. He has!
It was the toughest competition that you could play against. The best footballers in the world. And if for you to come out on top, your team, it's something that'll stay with you forever.
Nobody can compare with Bobby. As a footballer and as a man.
What he achieved after being 60 years here, he got the Ballon d'Or in '66, he got the World Cup for England, and you know, he survived the Munich and also won the European Cup in 1968. He was just an icon.
Some you'll pay your money to go and see, and he's definitely top of the tree.
It's a sad day for sure, but it's also a beautiful day because we get to celebrate probably the most influential person that we've ever had at Manchester United.
So humble, modest, his empathy to people was first class. World-class player and a world-class person.
A wonderful man, and I'm here at United because of Bobby Charlton, without question. He was a wonderful support for me and everything we did when I first came to the club. A really, truly wonderful man.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, a very good evening to you. Our fourth named storm of the season, Debbie, brought heavy spells of rain and strong winds across much of the northwest first thing today. And for many areas this afternoon, those winds have continued to cause a few problems. As we head through into this evening, more showers to come, and the unsettled theme plays out over the course of the next few days, with further showers, some autumnal sunshine, and a cooler feel in general towards the weekend. Low pressure very much in charge of things weather-wise across all of the UK. As we go through the next few days, a conveyor belt of systems bringing showers at times interspersed with some sunshine here and there, and those temperatures are average at best. Back to this evening's details, and we'll continue to see showers feeding across the northwest of England and for the Isle of Man. Still some strong winds there for a time, and Irish Sea coast will continue to bear the brunt of some rather large waves. For many places, as we go through tonight, it will become a little drier, and eventually winds begin to ease down into the early hours of Tuesday morning. It's not a chilly night, 8 or 9 degrees. On to tomorrow, those are the sun times. It'll be rising at 7:35, setting at 4:15 tomorrow afternoon. For the northwest of England and the Isle of Man, tomorrow will be a typically showery day, and some of these showers will merge at times to form some longer spells of rain, perhaps even accompanied by a rumble of thunder here and there during the afternoon. The best of any brightness probably for southern counties again, perhaps Merseyside, Cheshire seeing some sunshine, and temperatures are fairly academic. 12 or 13 Celsius isn't going to feel that warm in the wind tomorrow afternoon. Enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.